We'll get there. Hey, boys.
Hey, Brett.
What's up, man?
Well, Marcus's drink of the night is a margarita, kind of frozen. If you didn't already look
It's not frozen. It's not even meant to
I just
be
realized
frozen.
that
It's crushed
the
ice.
reason why you chose the margaritas is that was what they drank the night they died.
Yes.
So I'm not sure this is a great idea.
Well, if
They
it depends
drank a
on, by the
lot
way,
more.
depending on, I
okay.
don't think anybody tells the perspective from the people who died. It's the night they killed the hippies. Is the night that it happened.
But if you know the story, that was why he stayed. If you know the story, that's why they did the margaritas at that place. Like he stayed true to the story up until that.
So I don't know the story. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I can't wait to
We're
hear
gonna
more
fill
about
you
it.
in.
As soon as we
I like that he says we're going to fill you in. He just assumes that I know.
Well, everyone knows about Charles Manson.
Yeah.
And the Manson.
Except for Brett.
Except for Brett.
I do know things.
I'm not sure what Brett ever learned.
Dude, at some point in my life, it was like God, knives, family football.
Hey, we've all been there. We've all been there.
By the way, God, family, knives, fantasy football.
Welcome to The Cover, where three Hoosier friends judge books by their covers and movies by their trailers.
That's right. I'm Brett, here with my fellow Indiana natives, Remington and Marcus, ready to dive into the stories that keep us up all night and occasionally put us to sleep.
Whether you're a bookworm, movie buff, or just here for the witty banter, we've got you covered.
Each week, we'll dissect a different book or movie, sharing fun facts, hot takes, and moments that make Marcus cry. Spoiler alert, we're not experts, but we're definitely opinionated.
From literary masterpieces to blockbuster flops, nothing is safe from our snarky reviews and wild tangents. Who knew Hoosiers could be this entertaining?
So grab your popcorn and reading glasses because we're about to embark on a hilarious journey through the pages and screens that shape our lives. Or at least our weekends.
You're listening to The Cover. Let's get the show on the road before one of our kids wakes up.
I'm already my face hurts. I'm gonna get hit pretty hard for that one. Marcus, what's in these margaritas?
Anyway, I just got back from Mexico. I think it'd be great if we shared. The three of us went to Mexico twice a year for like 10 years straight.
For quite a while.
So, just off the top of your head, top 9 things you love about Mexico.
The first step off the shuttle from the airport.
That's exactly what I was
The
gonna
drink
say.
that's like right there.
It's just ready for you.
You're wearing way too many clothes. You're hot, but a good hot. You're kind of sweating.
Oh, yeah.
But all that stress of getting there is gone.
Regardless
and it's always
of the flight,
when it's like chilly outside in
dude, the
Indiana.
fall,
You know?
you're
late-
leaving.
late
We're always
winter.
leaving like snow or rain.
Yeah, that first step. And
First step.
So good.
From the first drink. That's 1 and 2. What else you got?
Man, I just anytime I drink a Corona or anytime I see a Corona commercial, all I think of is Mexico,
Yes.
man. Just like a Corona in basically
takes you
a
back.
solo cup, with sitting in the you're just sitting in the pool.
Yeah.
The Corona with the solo cup that's
Everybody's
got the lime
reading a
wedge in
book.
it.
Jim's
Oh.
looking at a book. Yes. It's awesome.
Jim's got
Watching
the book
people
open
read
to the
books.
first
Which is, by the
page.
way, another one of my top 9 for Mexico is just when else do I sit outside
Crush a book.
and crush a book?
Yeah.
Crush a book.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Are you guys good at finishing a book on vacation?
Oh yeah, I usually finish at least 2.
The only time I finish
Over
a
the
book,
course of a week?
the only time I finish a book, unless it's for the podcast, in a respectable amount of time, is on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah, or a long flight on the way.
Since
there.
having kids, I have not been able to finish a book on vacation. Maybe one.
What's what I love about camping as well is that I'm just not
Lot of
hurried,
chill, yeah.
so I've got a lot.
You probably
of time.
enjoy a lot of books now camping, whereas
Yeah.
before I catch myself like.
But also,
speeding
if we
through
want our
things.
kids to read, like I'm trying to read more like at home, so that my kids are seeing me reading, not just like looking at a book.
Yeah.
So this was a company trip. I love the
Or looking at my
process
phone.
of
Sorry.
being outside or at the pool all day and then going back, taking a nap, showering, and getting all dolled up for dinner.
Dude, so Jake Doherty
love
taught
that
me
process.
this term. It's the 3 S's. We'll just say
Oh, yeah.
poop, shower, shave.
Yep.
It's an amazing 25-minute experience. It's the best. You're a whole new man.
Might even be 45 minutes if you're in Mexico.
Oh, dude.
You know?
Yes.
But
yeah.
I'm shocked you haven't said hot tub.
Well, Ordering room service at 2 a.m.
Oh,
enough
man.
cheese and wine for 30 people.
Bubbles all
Bubbles
over.
in the hot tub.
Not
That's
just
more
the
of
hot
a
tub.
story than it is,
Yeah,
but it's
it
still
is.
great.
But I usually Kelsey takes 7 hours to get ready in Mexico. So basically gets up and
So she
starts
wakes
getting
up
ready.
and gets ready
Starts
for dinner.
But seriously, she takes a long time. And that's okay. I love that about her. But I'll hop in the hot tub with, either a Corona or a Diet Coke.
Yeah. Listen to the cover podcast.
I've been on the Diet Coke kick.
Diet Pepsi caffeine free for me. Didn't accidentally
No,
buy
just regular Pepsi.
Pepsi caffeine
caffeinated.
free. I didn't accidentally buy 5
Brett's
sleeves
basically
from
drinking
Kroger.
water at this point.
But I'm trying to, yeah. Let's do one more. I would say the staff at all inclusives in Mexico
You love
are,
those guys.
dude. They're
They work
amazing
hard.
humans.
Mexicans work harder than Americans. Just
Period.
as a
Period.
as a nation.
100%.
Hands down.
I mean, Amish people work pretty hard.
Okay. I wouldn't call Amish
But
people
they're not
Americans.
Jokes
I'm
on
sorry.
them. They're never going to
Did we
listen.
just lose all of our Amish listeners? Bummer. We have more South African listeners than Amish listeners. I got an email from a guy that says, "Hey, you have 0.3% South African listeners." I said, "Thanks, man."
Did Wharton School of Business email you about
Sure, I don't
stuff
know.
on the podcast?
Don't know.
I got an email. They did a review on my podcast. I'm like, dude, awesome. All it was is AI generated who was on it.
Right.
And it was just
there's
for-
a whole business.
Dude, all that stuff.
Well, no, and then it was a link where like, hey, these 3 episodes, we couldn't tell these 3 things.
Mm-hmm.
All it was for me to provide them more data points for
Correct.
whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
Kind of genius.
But then
got
they'll
me.
also try to sell you something. But like there is complete businesses that are run by AI that send out emails that tell you a fake ranking and all this stuff. And it got me. It got me good. I started down the rabbit hole. I didn't click on their link though.
Oh, dude, no, don't click on the link.
Yeah, nice try, Diddy.
Dude,
Good
okay.
try.
Riley gets a text message from somebody about I can't remember now, so I'm going to botch it. But if you guys got those texts about UPS has lost your package,
Oh, yeah.
she's like, do I click it? I'm like, no, don't click it. And I'm like, this is how it happens.
I think
to
that
everyone.
my cell phone number, I know that my cell phone number is on the Accelerate website. I must get like 6 offers a day for business funding via text message. It is so annoying.
I don't know, but the amount of times I've gotten a big ol' envelope in the mail about a HELOC, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no,
Do it, man. It's a good deal.
Welcome to the podcast.
deal.
It's called The Cover. I'm your host, Brett Wiggins. As always, to my left is
Marcus Mangus.
bartender extraordinaire. To my right is Sir
Remington Ramsey.
Sir Remington. What are we covering?
We're covering a movie. I just pulled it up. There's a lot. So if you go on IMDb, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And they're all pretty interesting. I'm going to read the third one. 1969, Rick Dalton was once the star of a highly popular TV series, but a few bad choices have set his career back, leaving him wondering if he should quit showbiz altogether. His best friend, Cliff Booth, an aging stuntman who was Dalton's stunt double in movies and TV, his career is largely over. While Booth ekes out an existence, Dalton still lives a life of relative luxury in Hollywood, rubbing shoulders with the rich and famous. In fact, his neighbors are Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate. That is the entire back cover for this. Which is funny to me because it's very Tarantino-esque. This movie is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019, R rating, 2 hours, 41 minutes runtime. Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, director Quentin Tarantino.
Dude, we talking about Leo and Gosling. How many? Is this only our second Margot? Third Margot, because she's also in
Big Short.
Big Short.
Yeah.
So 3. I mean,
Yeah,
and
we've
she's
done a
great.
lot of Margot.
She's a fantastic actress.
She's great. She's
good.
great as Sharon Tate, too. In fact, the first time I watched this, I really thought that it was her on that screen.
He does some crazy stuff.
He does
with
do
that.
some crazy
It
stuff.
gave me Brady Bunch vibes, like those actors, actresses, that timeline with her character
Yeah.
just dressing that way.
But like, so just to go into that back cover, rewind, that doesn't tell you anything about the movie. And that's about how much I knew about this movie was basically.
By the way, great transition. Well done. What'd you know going into it?
That's about what I knew about this movie, was just that it was another Tarantino movie, and I like to go in blind.
That's basically what I knew too.
But the problem is, at the time, I didn't realize that Tarantino has two types of movies. He has a story that's written out of order, and then he has revisionist history. He rewrites history. And this movie was personal for him, and you don't know that until the final scene. And I also didn't realize how personal it was until I started reading his book.
Yeah,
5 to 10 years.
I think it's very personal. I think that if you know Tarantino at all, you can see how much it's like his love letter to Hollywood.
It is.
In
He
so
wrote
many
this for
ways.
5 years.
So when you say it's personal for him, explain that.
Well, so Inglourious Bastards is a great example. Like, he's got 4 or 5 of his movies, Django Unchained, what should have happened.
Okay.
So what actually did happen is, Hitler went off for another couple of years. There was no special force unit. And then all of a sudden they lock them all in, all the Nazis, and then like set the place on fire and shoot them up. And like, it's like your attempt to like rewrite history to feel good about what should have happened. Well, in this movie, this is about the Manson murders. And if you know anything about Charles Manson, we're going to get into it here a little bit, but it's just a crazy story. But Tarantino is in love with Hollywood. He grew up going to the movies since the age of like 5. And so he's a
purist when it comes to cinema. He could tell you exactly what a movie's supposed to be. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's got his list of perfect movies, and they're not
anything
they're
you
not
think.
your perfect
Like
movies.
to our point, he picked Social Network as the best movie of the 2010s, I believe.
Was that Tarantino that said that? No, that wasn't Tarantino. That was
I thought it was.
No, it
was Big Boy, Wolf of Wall Street.
Need to look it up.
The guy that
Anyway,
directed Wolf of Wall Street?
Tell me.
Gosh dang it.
Scorsese?
Oh, sorry.
Scorsese
Okay,
said that.
sorry.
Not Tarantino.
So,
this is
got it.
Tarantino is much more like, he would pick a Western that no one's seen. as the
What
greatest movie of
actually
all time.
happened in the Manson murders with this situation? So in this situation, they kill off Manson's Goonies. In the real version that actually happened, what happened?
So everything leading up into the final scene of the movie is historically accurate as what I could see.
No way.
Yes, everything was right. They did
Like
go
Cliff
out.
going to the ranch. That all.
The ranch. I don't know. Cliff's character is fiction. So Rick and Cliff's are fiction.
Got it.
But the description of the ranch,
That's
I went
what was happening there.
for an hour
I got
last
you.
night.
Yeah.
I'm just going.
You went
this
down the rabbit hole?
Yes, down to the fact that Spawn, that guy is blind. They're taking advantage of him. A lot of the young girls are sleeping with him so that they can stay there.
Yeah.
All of that is true.
Yeah.
And so Manson starts to prey on this guy, but then realizes like, okay, we can actually recruit people, and then starts to go down crazy town. But he's trying to get everyone else, like he's the famous guy for getting everyone else to commit his sins. And so he starts brainwashing
He's
these.
He's literally Satan.
Yeah, he starts brainwashing these hippies to the point where, like, I mean, all these hippies are stranded kids in their teens that grow up into their 20s that are tripping on acid trying to figure out what life means.
Yep.
And so he goes, hey, the opposite of this is everyone in Hollywood. Those guys have it made, starts brainwashing them. So what happens is they kill Sharon Tate, in her guest
pregnant.
parties while she's pregnant. Six people. So her neighbors aren't even in the story. That's where it goes down the different path.
So, but when you say it's personal and it's his, I think you said love letter to Hollywood. What?
That's what Marcus said.
Got it. Marcus, maybe he'll tell us in his 9 words. We'll get into it.
I'm gonna tell you in my 9 words how it's Quentin Tarantino's love letter to Hollywood. Yes.
Okay, it's great, Marcus.
Oh, absolutely.
By the way, what I knew going into it, Tarantino, Brad Pitt, Leo, and the meme. That's all.
The meme. What's the meme?
Right there. There it is.
Oh.
You knew the meme before watching the movie.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. At least, well, as you all know, there's very good possibility I watched this movie way before and don't remember watching.
Are you a Tarantino fan?
Yeah. Yeah.
So Marcus, where does this rank in your Tarantino?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably in the, like, off the top of my head, probably in the like 5 to 7 range.
5 to 7. He's only done like 10.
Well, is he Kill Bill? Isn't he Kill Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's 3 Kill Bills alone.
Right.
So I'm
That's
just
off
saying,
the top of my head. I might be wrong.
So-
Maybe it's like potentially
I need
4.
to watch Pulp Fiction as a future.
Do we all agree that that's the best one?
Well,
Pulp
I need
Fiction?
to rewatch it as a future can.
Dude, I don't know.
I'm now the host of a
I think
podcast that does this. I watch
That
it.
goes to
differently.
can.
To me, two of my top three are definitely Inglourious and Django. Like,
Still haven't seen Django.
love
So
those
he's an
movies.
actor in 39, a writer in 27, but in terms of like the
Writer,
stuff that he's-
producer.
he's a director of 21 movies.
I mean,
but
He's
they're also including like ER. He directed some episodes.
no.
so movies is 21 or no?
No.
It's
His
probably
first
lower than that.
His first movie was Reservoir Dogs. That was the
Yeah.
one that put him on the map. Then Pulp Fiction 2 years later, and that's the one that everyone
Well,
goes
here-
down for.
here's-
He's got Pulp Fiction, and the next one is
4 Rooms.
Here's
Jackie Brown.
Jackie Brown is
Jackie Brown is like a page out of his own life.
Yeah,
Here's
like-
what we all know: if Tarantino puts out a movie, we're seeing it.
I'm gonna watch it.
We're seeing it, and I think a lot of people share that. Marcus, let's get to our 30-second synopsis. Yours comes in 9 words. Hit us with it.
Rick and Cliff navigate Hollywood and stop Charles Manson.
Oh,
the
the
way, I got-
Hollywood got me.
I
Good
got
for
in
you.
trouble because Brett spends all this time on this like rhyming and doing all
My
this, and then we
favorite-
just move right on.
My favorite thing.
You got in trouble.
I got in trouble.
Meaning someone.
We were
you're-
listening. Kelsey and I were listening to the podcast and the show, and you go, her hand, Fernand, and they were like, so yeah, let's talk about that. And she's like, you guys need to stop and clap for the amount of effort. He puts-
Well, I will tell you this: that I literally don't write these until I walk in this room.
So we
Marcus's
should clap
part
for
is
you.
way more impressive. To be clear,
and
yeah.
and my favorite is when I get texts from people who will tell me I've got a better 9-word summary.
Yeah.
I'm like, of course you do.
and Marcus is like, honestly, I don't even remember the one that I came up with.
This is the moral of the story. I'm too emotionally intelligent, and Marcus and Rem have much room to improve. All right. All the wives have told all of us this. 30-second slam poetry.
Hold
Here
on.
we go.
3 movies that are better than this that Tarantino directed.
Go ahead.
Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastards, Reservoir Dogs.
Dude,
I think
I
those are the only
definitely
3.
include Django on that list.
And
I love Reservoir Dogs as well.
honestly, Inglourious Bastards, we just love it so much, and Pulp Fiction is so good. Those might be the only
He-
2.
he-
The
but
more that I'm getting into this.
Who
I
has
do
more
love this movie.
9s than Tarantino?
You what?
Who has more 9s than Tarantino? I'd venture to say he would have the most 9s, or definitely the highest percentage
What
of
was
9s.
crazy
That's a
is
good
he has
question.
his own 9 in our spreadsheet.
Oh,
Top
yeah. I
9
mean, that's how.
Tarantino.
And he only has
Scor-
20 or 18 movies.
He doesn't
or
have very
whatever.
many. Scorsese
Scorsese.
might have.
But his is, gosh, his career is how many years long? There's how many movies in there? Efficiency. I mean,
Both
he's,
directors, ironically, don't direct often. Like they do one movie every couple years, every 3 years.
It's kind of the opposite of your story, Rem, about the plates. Remember how you told the story about the plates where it's like
Pots.
one group got told to make the perfect pot, one group got told to make as many pots as possible, and the group making as many as possible are the only ones who made the perfect pot. He's like he's the anomaly, man.
because they're
He's-
not businesses. These aren't
Right.
they're
Right, right.
directors.
That's
They're
fair.
not they're not attacking it as a business. As
Yep.
a business, that's what you want to do.
Yep.
But as an artist,
Yeah.
Yeah, Tarantino's just straight artist. Yeah.
Here we go. Aging star comes to terms with reality. Stuntman and personal assistant for life is just happy to be there. Pacino! Anybody order fried sauerkraut? Leo's accent. An impression of Dave Chappelle's Bill Clinton impression. Dog food slime. You're watching. You don't know what quite yet, but you're into it. Cliff, the authentic hype man, friend and professional Bruce Lee butt kicker. Anybody that accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. I don't know. Would you bother me? Sit. Cliff gets just close enough to the wrong decisions to be dangerous, but never crosses the line. The performance of Rick Dalton's life. Next stop, Italy. Dude celebrating over bottomless margaritas, the life. Dang hippies. Followed by a can to the face, dog to the groin, knife to the side, face to the wall, flamethrower, and, well, hello, neighbor. And away we go.
Oh, so good! Oh man!
sit down.
Wow! I just want to sit for 30 seconds. I just want to sit for
Wow.
30 seconds and think about that. Wow!
Yeah.
Holy
Pause
cow!
the podcast Actually, it was pretty good.
I
Wow.
know it was in jest, if I'm using that word right, but it was worth it.
But it felt
and
good.
great.
Oh man, I love that.
Oh, that was
I can't
good.
do that on command like you can.
What's cool about that is I would love to sit down with Tarantino and ask, did you know you wanted to end the movie that way, and that's why you had Brad Pitt set that up within the first interaction with his dog? Or did that happen and you were like, oh, now that would be an awesome way to trigger the dog to attack?
Well, I bet it was written in.
The coolest part is that he has so much control over that dog.
Dude,
clearly got a gun. He's clearly a bad guy.
He's
and
waiting.
He's still all he did was put his hand up a little bit.
Dude,
And he told them that, hey,
And-
if you
and dogs do
whine,
that.
if you whine, you're not getting fed.
Right.
So he
Yeah.
wasn't getting drawn attention by the
Right.
guys breaking in.
It was awesome. I told Jessica, I was like, you know what? I said that I'm not going to get a dog after this one dies that we currently have. I said, but if I would wait until I have no kids,
Dude,
and all I have is
train
time,
away.
Yeah.
and I would see if I can train a dog like that, because
Yeah.
that is awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So okay,
I love it.
Here's where Marcus is saying this is a love letter to Hollywood. So this is
Yes,
one of the most
Remington,
famous.
please tell us how Marcus is telling this, that this is a love letter to Hollywood.
This is one of the most famous murders in all of history, but especially in all of Hollywood. So, and he was a kid at the time, but like essentially Tarantino is rewriting history from some of the most epic things that happened that in his mind shouldn't have happened. And so you've got these actors in a profession that he loves, in an industry that he loves, and pouring their hearts out and doing it on the screen in front of all these people and these hippies that are basically doing nothing for society, trying to tear that down. He puts these people in if you go in the fun facts in the notes, I've got tons of them where he confirms this was personal for him. And so what I picture is him going, okay, these 3 murders, we're going to kill them, and it's going to be the most epic deaths. And then he starts working backwards. I'm talking flamethrowers. What's the most brutal dog he can get? Okay, yeah, Pitbull. We're going to get one of those.
So Riley watches it, and I'm like, look, just so you know, everything's going to be fine until the last 15 minutes, and then you need to go upstairs.
Yeah.
And she did.
She didn't see the end,
Dude,
So she probably
when
doesn't
he
like
takes
the
the
movie.
girl and throws her face into the telephone.
I can't imagine not watching the last 20 minutes.
So, but she's watching it while doing other stuff. She's watching it just because she's my teammate. She's not watching it to watch it.
But I'm saying, like, this movie, the payoff is really not until the last 20 minutes.
you literally, and that was part of my
don't know where it's going.
summary. You
No,
don't know
it's-
why you're watching. You're into it, but you don't know. That's literally her
Well,
comment.
I
But you do
actually
know,
took less notes on
if you
this
know the
movie.
history of the Manson, then what you're expecting is him the hippies to kill Sharon Tate and her whole
Yes.
house party.
So that
'Cause
was
that's what happens.
That was the most interesting thing, was that I was, halfway through, and they go to this commune, and there's this guy,
Spawn Ranch.
There's this guy, Tex, talking about Charlie, and I
Starting
lean
to
over
make sense.
to Jessica, and I go, Charlie Manson just got into this movie. Like, I was like,
Oh,
this
dude, that is interesting.
I was like, this is gonna be crazy,
Yeah.
and so I'm making the
Yeah.
connections as I'm supposed to.
Yeah.
But I knew nothing going in.
Rem, to your point, going in blind, which is what I do on every movie,
Mm-hmm.
Not by choice, but that's
You're basically Spawn.
yeah. I mean, it's
Nice.
But didn't you think it was funny?
Because
that
Spawn's blind.
He yells at Cliff for asking if he saw somebody because he's blind, and then he's like, "Yeah, I have to watch FBI with her every
Yeah.
Sunday."
blind.
You're blind. What are
Yeah.
you just saying? So Rem, the reason it's a love story is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is because these Charles Manson, these hippies, are basically saying, all of you people in Hollywood don't deserve any of this. You don't work hard. You're whatever. You're just lucky.
You're pretty.
He's saying, hey, no, you don't have the respect. Like, you aren't giving the respect to these people that they
Yeah.
actually deserve because they work really hard.
Well, and I think Tarantino also, like, he doesn't like the justice of murder. He doesn't like it's especially true because of who gets murdered and who does the murdering, because these are the low lives in his brain, which, it's hard not to agree with that. And then the fact that they're taking
Remington
precious
hates
innocent
hippies.
life.
Remington hates hippies.
And I love, though, like Rick Dalton.
By the way, the Oscars are happening right now.
Now.
I think as a cover podcast,
I know.
we should definitely mention that We're not watching the Oscars.
Oscars are happening.
So
We're the best movie podcast of all time.
well, anyway, I was gonna make a Trump Zelensky situation, but I won't. So anyway,
That also happened last 2 days.
yeah, it was awesome, and I don't think they're gonna talk about it being awesome at the Oscars. Anyway, nope, lost it. Let's talk about what made us stop. What made us stop and think?
Well, can I talk a little bit about let's talk about the love letter a little bit
No, man,
more.
we're just going to
What if I
speculate
said
about
no?
your love letter.
Okay, fine, that works.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Let's talk about I also think everything you said dead on. But also you see this really come throughout the movie. So if you say, why am I watching this?
Tonight was the night I liked margaritas. Tonight was the night.
Brett just needs a good bartender, I think.
I do.
And not that I would call myself average at best.
What's the T-Pain song? Bartender.
Bartender.
Yeah, you put that down quick. He must be ready to go on vacation. Anyway, you are for quite a bit of this movie. You're kind of watching it, saying like, okay, what's coming?
Mm-hmm.
What's gonna twist?
When's it all gonna happen?
Yeah. Why did you think that? Because you saw Inglourious Basterds and you saw Django.
Well, you just know.
No, because nothing's really happening that makes sense why it's happening yet.
You just haven't
time.
put it all together yet. Like the way that he films this, and it's got so many. It's got so many times where you're in people's thoughts and you're seeing their memories, which is a weird. It was weird and interesting and kooky, but he's showing you all the things he loves about cinema in the 50s to 70s.
Do you think
he's just showing?
Do you
you
feel
all
like
of
he
that.
abuses this ability? Like everyone knows Tarantino is awesome, so he's gonna throw as many Easter eggs as he can, just things that he cares about. Like Bruce Lee didn't make sense.
I think he legitimately just loves cinema, and he's just like,
But
I'm gonna put these homages in there because it
so
entertains
many.
him.
He's
It entertains
earned
him.
our attention. So if you're a brand new director, you can't risk 85% of a movie not making sense yet.
Right. And he's playing real footage from Alcatraz and all this stuff.
Where Tarantino, he can, because he knows, we know it's going to. So he's earned that right to be able to do that.
A great example is like Margot Robbie is in the theater as Sharon Tate watching a movie that Sharon Tate is in. And instead of
we're watching Sharon Tate,
instead
not Margot
of redoing
Robbie.
it with Margot, they just show a clip from the 70s of Sharon Tate where she's watching it as herself, but they don't change it.
Yep.
And you're kind of like squinting and you're wondering and like...
But they do put Leo into The Great Escape.
Right. They put Leo into
Which
The Great
was
Escape.
also awesome.
Have you seen The Great Escape?
Yeah.
Marcus, I am so impressed with the movies. Have you seen? Brett does not even know what that
What's
is.
the name of? Well, hold on. Is that Dean Martin? Who's the guy that is?
No, Steve
McQueen.
No. Time out.
Oh, Dean Martin's in the Sharon Tate movie.
In the Sharon Tate.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, so who am I? Who's in the movie that Leo is playing the general or whatever? Who's the guy?
That's The Great
opposite?
Escape, and he's the
Steve
understudy
McQueen.
to Steve McQueen.
So Steve McQueen is the actual guy that's kind of
Correct.
reprimanding him. Got it.
Yeah.
By the way, this scene
No.
that just.
No.
He takes
He's in
place
Steve
of
McQueen's
Steve
place.
But okay,
He's
the
imagining
guy,
himself being Steve McQueen.
the guy opposite him.
Yes.
What
We
so
don't know who that is.
I have
That's
no
the
idea.
No, we
general.
I
do
don't
know
remember.
him. He's in
He's
the
the
movie.
general.
He's in the movie that you make fun of Riley for
Yeah,
liking
White Christmas?
White Christmas.
Yeah.
That's
It's the same guy.
yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Dang it, he sings really, really well. You would know him.
Oh, dude, it does look like him, but I don't think it is. It's
It-
not Bing Crosby.
It looks like Bing
It
Crosby.
I
does
don't
look
think
like
it
Bing
is.
Crosby.
Okay.
But yeah,
I don't think it's been credited. Is that who you're thinking of?
Yes.
Is-
Yeah, it
okay.
looks just like Bing Crosby. Nate's about to find out.
Yeah.
So, but the scene that just happened is Brad Pitt. You can just talk.
Is Bing
You could just
Crosby in
talk.
The Great Escape?
It's like 14-point
No,
font
we
from
need The
40
Great
feet away.
Escape.
We're not going to take time. But the thing that just happened is it's James Garner would be my guess.
No, James Garner. No.
No. Without it's in order of appearance. So I
Wait.
don't know.
James Garner's in this movie?
no, bro,
So-
move on.
so-
We've
so
lost.
the scene that just happened. The scene just
Obviously,
happened.
James Garner's in
Ooh,
the Notebook.
Jurassic Park is a good movie.
So Rick Dalton sends Cliff. So
That is what you should do.
Okay.
Leonardo
Yeah.
DiCaprio.
Done.
Yeah, that's better.
Leonardo DiCaprio sends Brad Pitt home to fix his antenna. It
yes.
fell off.
Yeah, and this is when he has his own flashback.
Okay, he has a flashback which you don't you kind of realize it's a flashback, but not until it's over with the Bruce Lee. But that's not why I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
So Tarantino wants Cliff. He wants to show the hippies scouting out Sharon Tate's house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he shows that, but he also wants to show
yes,
the ice cream truck or whatever
Yes.
that stops. And then he also wants to show Cliff with his shirt off. Do you guys know why?
because it's Brad Pitt.
That too.
Seriously, when it played at Con,
People fainted.
people went crazy.
Yeah,
So
they definitely.
There was a
It
standing.
showed-
There was a gasp
of this movie.
of this movie when I read that as a
Dude,
fun
I
fact.
guarantee people that love cinema love this movie.
So
Like,
you
more
missed
than,
it
more
because
than you and I.
this
even.
is what I've grown to appreciate: figuring out how these directors get everything done at once.
Yep.
They got the hippies spying on Sharon Tate's house.
Okay.
And Brad Pitt, aka Cliff's scars, shown all in one clip, and it was to show all the beatings he's taken as a stuntman.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like a montage of him before that, and I just think it's so cool to see how directors accomplish
dude.
that type of stuff.
And
Were
what's
you
funny
looking
is
up-
like
were you looking up facts?
No,
no, but
No,
this is what's interesting is like you get so good at it that I bet there's things like that we analyze that he's like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
Right.
Like you just, because you know what? Because at some point he was analyzing everything. So I've got another fun fact about what happens right before that. But Bruce Lee's line about Cliff being pretty for a stuntman was suggested by Burt Reynolds during the script reading.
Oh.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have made it in the movie because Pitt hates it when people talk about how good looking he is, especially on film.
oh no.
Yeah. But it was Burt Reynolds, so they're like, okay, we got to leave it.
It's a good line.
Yeah,
It's a great line.
it's true.
Way to go, Bert.
So
By the way, is Burt Reynolds in this movie?
no, I was just
No.
saying because when you said that, I was like, do you mean Kurt Russell?
No, it's Burt Reynolds.
But
No, he probably was just at the screen reading.
Yeah.
Does
I mean,
Kurt,
there's a ton
Does
of
Kurt Russell narrate
He is
everything
narrating.
before
Yes.
he is in the movie?
Yeah.
He's narrating the entire time. It didn't hit me until after.
So
he's-
both he and his wife in the movie are
his wife is Janet?
are stunt people in other Tarantino movies. So like Death Proof.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Kurt Russell is the main character. He's a stunt man.
Yeah.
So it's just like they're paying homage to their own movies.
Kurt Russell's wife in this movie, is that his wife?
No,
No.
Oh,
she's
got
just
it.
a
Okay.
stunt woman in a different
Got
Tarantino
it.
movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that relationship
The
is
Green
great.
Hornet.
Pacino makes a big splash, tries to save Rick Dalton because he sees what's happening
No,
before
he's
Rick
trying
sees
to
it.
make money on Rick Dalton.
Right.
But
also
I think
save
it's a
him.
win-win. I think he has good intentions, but yeah, now that you bring that up, obviously you're right.
Yeah, obviously. You need to talk to my wife more.
Obviously. So like here's where I think Tarantino kind of abuses it sometimes. There's such long Western dialogue that's just so unnecessary, and they leave it in because he loves it. But like everyone else, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just sitting there like, what's about to happen? And in 10
nothing.
minutes, and then they just go to somewhere else, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm sure that will be important
I
later.
love Westerns, though, so
Oh, so you liked it.
I do. Yeah, it's very
But I thought like the
nostalgic.
best part of the Westerns is when he breaks character and asks for his lines, which was ad-libbed. Like Tarantino didn't even want that. Like Tarantino doesn't let ad-libbing in his film, but
in
like
many ways, I'm the
Are you sure about
least
Yes.
objective watcher of movies and listener of songs because I base everything on source. So like if it's somebody like I love Tarantino, I love Brad Pitt, I love Leo. I decided I loved this movie before I watched it. So I'm
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's like watching it, I'm like, you're telling me what's good. I'm not gonna watch your movie and tell you what's good or not. Like I know this is good because you. So that's.
now let me ask you this.
Wow,
I,
you're
I,
way more humble than
I really
me.
like that. Yeah, Marcus is not. I would not call Marcus humble. I thought that part was the funny.
Marcus is the
Did
humblest
you listen to
person
the
he
last
knows.
episode? I thought that was funny. So, all right, I love that approach. Now here's my
Of course, I listened to myself.
Here's my question. Here's my question. He's still going over there. Marcus could have a whole episode by himself while we're talking. So what if
exactly
the
zero
movie
on my
was
notes.
dubbed as bad? What if it was?
If people,
yeah.
said
What
it was
if you
bad,
went into the movie thinking that, then you watched and you're like, oh, I really like that, and then everyone hated it.
who said it was bad? Did you say it was bad? Because if you said it was bad, I tend to trust you.
Oh, it depends on who the source is.
It's that's yeah. So then I might be met in a very tough position.
I don't know. There's been episodes where we've said, "Hey, this movie's actually good," and you're like, "Okay, I'm not going to change my rating, but I'll rewatch it."
Well, Casablanca
definitely.
was a good
If
example.
Brett tells me it's a 9, I'm questioning if I think it's a 9 or not.
Well, buckle up, Marcus.
Oh man, I do that with books though. I do that with Hemingway. Like the first time I read a Hemingway novel, I'm like, "Why is this such a big deal?" And then 2 weeks later, I'll be like,
Did you just compare Hemingway to
Tarantino?
No, but also to the movie Napoleon Dynamite. You just compared Hemingway.
I didn't say Napoleon Dynamite.
But you're thinking it because Napoleon Dynamite is the same situation.
Oh no, that was what Marcus said.
Oh,
You
okay.
do have to learn sometimes how to like things that are beyond you.
Yeah, it's like
You
it's like
have
an
to
acquired
learn-
taste, like wine. When you're learning how
to learn
drink
that.
wine and eat certain cheeses.
That's right. That's a really good example because they are very good and objectively so. But it's like you have to figure out what that is. Like there's a journey to finding that.
I'll tell you the first time I watched Pulp Fiction, which was probably too young to watch it, but when I watched it, I was like
Scared to say his age because his parents listen. Good.
No, I mean I was like, I don't know what's happening, and then you didn't stop thinking about it for like an entire week.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I think I love that movie.
Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
I think I love that movie.
Here's an interesting
Movies that have you thinking about them for a long time
Same thing with
afterwards.
books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
So the title of the section is "What Made You Stop and Think." Here's something that made me think. The whole time, I thought this was a mirror of Rick Dalton's career to Sharon Tate's. I think it's actually Sharon Tate to Cliff Booth. It's not. It's like Sharon Tate is. Did you get the feeling like she shows up to this movie theater and she is like, "I'm Sharon Tate. I'm in the movie."
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Oh, well, do you want to come in?" And the girl, when she takes her picture, did you hear what she said?
Stand by it so they'll know
Stand
who
by
you
so
are.
they know who you are. So
Yeah.
it's almost like you're in the movie, but you're not a big deal, sort of thing. And it was kind of like Cliff is just happy to be there, but doesn't.
I can see the parallelisms of those characters.
Yeah.
I'll take it a step further because I know where you're going with this.
Yep.
What I thought was showing the two houses, which was a pretty epic way of telling the story because
with Cliff and
you've got
Cliff.
Rick and Cliff as two characters, and then you've got Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate. Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate are on the up and up. Roman Polanski is at the height of his fame, and Sharon Tate is the rising star,
the literal height of his fame.
the light of it.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you've got Rick Dalton, who's a fake character, but he's quite literally on the fall, trying to even figure out if he's going to stay.
He's trying to continue.
They're showing the comparison between on the uprise in Hollywood and on the fall of Hollywood by two neighbors side by side. All the meanwhile telling the backstory of Helter Skelter.
Yeah, I don't think you're right.
Well, I think Cliff knows what he is. I don't think Sharon Tate knows what she is.
Well, I see what you're saying with
Do
the
you see what
two
I'm saying?
character arcs
Yeah.
because Sharon's a very humble. I don't need the limelight. I'm just in this movie and I'm okay with that. And I'm very happy that I'm now in Hollywood. And Cliff doesn't need the limelight either. In fact, he's happy picking up his buddies, you know, laundry.
Yeah, he really is. Which part of me is like, that's cool. Part of me is like, is that cool?
It is cool. It is cool for him because he's not the guy that's he doesn't want that. He doesn't want the fame. He wants a steady job and he wants to hang out with his buddies.
Yeah,
and that's okay for some people.
I kind of get the feeling though that she is similar to him. I guess what you're saying is like they're similar characters.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
They are similar in the fact that like she's just okay being in Hollywood, right? Like she's enamored with the whole thing. She can't believe that she's there.
Yeah.
Yes.
She can't believe that she's in this movie.
Yes.
Like that's great. She's not necessarily trying to portray a certain image.
Correct.
So
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's
this scene
fine.
right here,
I don't think though that they were. He definitely was setting up a dichotomy between Cliff and Rick, right? Like, and I thought that was really really interesting. But I thought that with Sharon Tate, it was mostly just to set up the Manson thing.
So we just saw the part where Sharon Tate visits a bookstore to pick up a copy of Tess of the D'Urbervilles,
Yeah.
Urbervilles. The real Sharon Tate gave
Herbivores.
No, that's
I'm
not
just kidding.
The real Sharon Tate gave her husband Roman Polanski a copy of the book while in Europe. Right before she returned to the U.S., it was the last interaction they had before she was killed. So that's the books that she's picking up there, and it was just like to pay homage. Like that's what I'm saying is like that's where he writes this love letter because it's so unjust to him, and in his mind, what he can do about it. Like what can I do about it?
He can rewrite the story.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino's like, you know what? This is what I can do about it. I can rewrite it and have a little bit of revenge in cinema.
It's the same thing with Django. Like, and it's one of the reasons that I love Django so much. Besides the fact that just it's spectacularly acted, in the way that
especially
this one
Leo
is.
in that one.
I mean, but he does this thing with Inglourious Bastards, with Django, and with this movie where he rewrites these moments the way that he wants them to. And who else is doing that? Like people do movies about the events. People don't rewrite the events.
And that's what we got in the argument about with Gladiator.
I love it.
We got in that argument with Gladiator because Marcus Aurelius is killed by his son, which is not how actual history is. And I get annoyed by that because the director is just changing it to fit the movie better. Tarantino does not care what it does to his movie. He wants to rewrite it. And I think that's why people respect him. I think that's why they watch it and they want to see what he's going to do next. Versus fitting history into your hour-long epic.
Tarantino fits in no box.
Right.
At all.
Right.
You know, I mean, I feel like we talked about Scorsese, you know, like you can put Scorsese in a little bit of a box.
Yeah.
But like you cannot put, like, you just don't know what he's going to do next with Tarantino.
What year is this happening?
69.
Okay, so was this, because we're screening in the background like we always do, was this the peak of automobiles? Because these cars
might have been the peak of music.
These
and automobiles.
okay. Side convo. Did you notice that every single track in this, every single piece of music was actually happening in the scene?
Oh,
There's
really?
no background music. So anytime they're playing music, it's playing in the car. They're playing a record. Now they might extend it beyond.
And then they bring it out.
The actors are also hearing it.
Yes, yes, it says. I thought that was so.
He does
cool.
it in all his movies.
Oh, does he really? Okay, awesome. But was it the peak of automobiles, the late 60s, early 70s?
They're pretty sweet.
Dude, they're very sweet. They're awesome.
That cream one that Rick Dalton drives around is another
That
movies.
one is great. The one that Sharon Tate's quote unquote husband drives.
Roman?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the wood grain on the inside.
It really is her husband.
Yes, but
Whose kid is it?
Whose kid is it?
I don't know. Who was staying there that
I was
week?
just wondering if Brett was going to get a big take on the
I
kid.
also think, I mean,
I'm waiting for some Easter eggs from Brett.
Does he know?
I've got some Brett notes.
Rem,
in
does
this
he
one.
know?
Which one? Which one?
Her husband. Does
Roman?
he know? Yeah.
Yes, he knows. He just doesn't care. It's Hollywood.
Okay, that's exactly my point. Keeping up with appearances. Yes. I would like to know if that was true.
No, I don't even think it was appearances.
Marcus is not on the same page as you, and it's cracking me up. When Brett says, "Does he know?" He's asking, "Has he told his parents?"
Did
Are you
Sharon
with
Tate's
us?
husband tell his parents about his situation? Is he in there or out of there?
Are you caught up yet?
No.
Oh my gosh. All
We'll
right.
fill you in on Patreon.
Well,
Oh, got it.
yeah, okay. Well, now Brett's a genius.
Looking at the video.
I got a fun fact for you. Quentin Tarantino considers himself one of the luckiest directors in history of Hollywood for being able to cast Leo and Brad Pitt at the same time.
Dude, this
Here's my question.
casting is absurd.
Here's my question. Who is more famous and well-known, Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio?
Ooh. I would say...
Are these tough?
I would say worldwide, like average human, Brad Pitt.
Man, I'm like the other way around.
In America, the person that
Brett
watches
is the
movies,
world traveler on the podcast.
Leo.
Oh, you are.
I would just say Brad Pitt's a sex symbol.
Question.
Leo's not a sex symbol.
Question.
Yes,
are you
he
going to
is.
be in America tomorrow or are you going to be somewhere else?
I'll be where Brad Pitt's more famous. Actually, I don't get there until Tuesday.
I don't
But
know.
Where do you fly tomorrow?
Well, we fly to Dallas, then London, then Budapest.
You're
but
going to Dallas, then London? That's the
but
wrong way.
the time change.
It's true. Are you spending a day in London?
No, we're
You
not.
sound like you're from London. Name that movie.
I don't don't know that.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
But I know you guys aren't.
Step into bass.
Nate, are you,
That's
I love you, man.
That's I love you, man.
Nate, are you a big Dave Chappelle fan?
Both Paul Rudd.
Okay,
both Paul Rudd.
So Nate is the
lines
only
there.
other
similar.
big Dave Chappelle fan here.
I like Chappelle.
I'm telling you that Leo's accent for this movie is an impersonation of Dave Chappelle impersonating Bill Clinton.
Oh, really?
I'll have to take your word for that.
It's absolutely the accent.
Can we talk about the Bruce Lee stuff, because that was so funny?
Well, so China here, you can go off
And
of this, but
people
China
were angry about this.
China refused the film certificate, and it's believed because they portrayed Bruce Lee poorly.
Exactly.
Did Bruce Lee
How
have
much pride do you have of the nation that one of your characters, like, come on?
So wait, but was it true about Bruce Lee? Was he that type of dude? Is that his
What,
MO?
like not winning fights?
No,
Who cares?
Like
It was hilarious.
Let's call it a monologue. His monologue talking to all of the stunt people was very egotistical. Was that realistic?
It's possible. It's possible that was what
Nate
they
is
did
saying
not
yes.
like it
Producer
being
Nate is-
depicted.
Nate's saying that
Very
is what Bruce Lee is known to
emphatically
be.
saying
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that scene was hilarious. And
it was great.
I loved the Bruce Lee stuff, and I knew that it was a big deal in these other countries. You know, I think that Tarantino brings it up in a Rogan interview or something like that. Is he's like,
Yeah, China wanted
people
them to.
people were really really upset about it.
Other
The fact that he got beat.
other famous people involved, and another way directors just decide to do cool stuff that makes sense. They show up to the Playboy Mansion. Did you catch how they let you know who all the famous people are at the Playboy Mansion?
Well, the
They
first scene, they
wrote
literally
their
put
names.
the
They
names
just
on
flashed
it.
their names up, and I'm like, okay, did they workshop this and try to find out a way to let you know who they are? And they were like, you know what, screw it, let's just put their names up.
No,
I don't
that's
know.
kind of a
I don't-
that's kind of a Tarantino thing.
I
Like,
liked
he
it.
always
I loved it.
labels
I loved
things
it.
and scenes. And
But he chose to label Steve McQueen, and then he didn't label Bruce Lee, for instance. So it's like,
Well, there's three famous people. It's Steve McQueen, Janis Joplin, maybe.
oh, Joplin. I didn't
there
catch
was
the other
three.
ones because
Joplin.
Steve McQueen was the only one that was important, because Steve McQueen was supposed to go to Sharon Tate's house the day. This is what he said, but he said he was going to visit her the night that she was killed and murdered. So that's why they put him at the party earlier, and like he had a thing for her, and he even says it at the party, like, I don't have a shot.
Never had a shot. Yep.
Yeah. But I don't know why they chose those other two, and
Well, maybe because it's a true part to the story that it's known they were at the Playboy Mansion the night before, or whenever. Would have been months before,
was a while before,
and those people were there. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if you're trying to really portray what happened.
yeah.
I thought Cliff was the perfect, authentic hype man. Never like told Rick something that wasn't true.
What's the line in the movie that makes you think?
Hey,
that?
you're Rick Dalton. Don't forget it.
That wasn't written in the movie.
No
it was
way.
something
That's
else.
something
It
that
was something else.
that was something that a mentor to Brad Pitt told him in his first movie, and he threw it in this just ad lib.
Somebody said that to Brad Pitt.
Someone
in his
said that
first
to Brad
movie.
Pitt in his first movie.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I mean, we all need to be reminded of that sometimes.
Marcus, you're freaking Marcus Mangus.
Thanks, man.
Don't you forget it.
I didn't mean I needed to be remembered.
Oh,
just
yeah, Marcus
we,
doesn't mean reminded.
The royal we.
I'm
not
Rem,
very
did you
humble.
notice Cliff's watch in this movie? It's a sick watch, dude. I don't know what it is.
I have not. I'm disappointed in myself.
I'm
Now, I
very-
did watch this on an iPad, and it's hard to notice watches on a small
You have
screen.
gladiator syndrome. Yes. Dude,
I would not have watched Gladiator
It's
on
a
an
sweet.
iPad.
It's a sweet watch.
That's such a shame.
That's so sad. That's why
Oh.
you didn't give it a 9.
Okay, you guys, have you guys
I didn't
seen
give it an
any
8.
Tarantino films in theaters?
I have not.
You
I didn't know
have
you were
to.
allowed to.
He's literally designs everything that way.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
There's certain scenes I do not want to see in theaters of Tarantino's.
That's why.
No, you know
that's
what?
why
I think
you
I
should.
saw Inglourious Bastards in theaters.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Speaks third best Italian. I don't speak Italian. That's why
right.
you're third best.
As a matter of fact, why don't you start right now? We're so good at leaving out all the language.
Pretty good.
People that know the movie
Oh,
will
yeah.
know. People that know the movie will know, like, this movie has a lot of
Yeah.
F words, and we've quoted some lines that have some F words, but we're not
But
saying
we're
them.
not, because we're better than them.
We're way better than them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What made you think, Brett?
Well, you guys were talking about earlier. It's the crescendo of Sharon and her husband's career, and the downfall of Rick and Cliff, which Yes.
It's sad that it's a crescendo because it's not the crescendo of Sharon Tate's. She truly was on the rise. Like
she was on the rise.
But it was the crescendo of Romans. But keep going.
Yeah. So you're watching
his peak, to be honest.
You're watching Rick work through what might be his last. I don't want to say great, but no, it is. It's his last American role before he goes to Italy, and it's also his first role since Al Pacino's character, whatever director he's portraying, basically tells him, "Look, dude, they're using you. Mm-hmm. They're using you. They're killing you off. I've seen this happen a million times before." And I loved watching him from first day on the set, hocking up along, drinking 49 tequila sours the night before, but also memorizing lines in the pool.
I loved how he memorized lines, by the way.
Yeah.
That's totally how that was. I always thought if I was going to be an actor, I think I can't fathom memorizing all those lines. I could do it like that.
Yeah. Well,
I could do it like
what
that.
I wrote about that scene was everybody has a nightly routine.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff, it's him and his dog, the dog food slime. Mm-hmm. Turn on the rate. He makes mac and cheese. Sharon and husband go out and hang out and have fun. And then Rick's just memorize lines. But watching him work through and then getting to his trailer, breaking everything, telling himself he's not going to drink.
Also ad-lib.
Oh, no
that
way.
trailer scene is phenomenal.
The trailer
that wasn't originally in there.
Is amazing.
Leo, as I understand it, Leo was struggling to play a character that couldn't act very well.
That is one of my notes. To be an amazing actor, that you can play an actor that isn't acting well.
He was.
Wow.
He wasn't playing an actor that struggled with versatility.
Yeah.
And so he asked for two things to be put in. He asked for I want to break my lines and I want to screw up and I want you to give me my lines and I want to freak out about it.
Yeah.
And I want the trailer scene, and that whole thing was ad-lib.
The trailer scene is phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, some of these things that they asked to be put in are the things that you remember of the movie.
I wrote down.
That was a great little
There had to be
scene.
a point in his career where something like that happened to him, because that was
Leo.
Yeah, it was so well done. So well done,
man. He's pretty famously on it.
On it, yeah, I could see that too.
Well, I mean, you got to start somewhere. I mean, something happens in your life where you dig deep.
Yeah, but even when he was like a little kid and he was doing Titanic and stuff, yeah.
Johnny Depp eating Gilbert Grape?
The story of when James Cameron brought him in to screen test for Titanic was like Leo was upset that he had to come in and screen test, but then came in, crushed it, and James Cameron's like, "I'm an idiot. Like I
shouldn't have had you do that."
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what had he done before that besides eating Gilbert Grape?
I don't.
Not a lot.
Well, I don't know. I don't know the answer, but he's pretty famously really good. Have you guys ever seen The Quick and the Dead?
Have not.
We should put it down on the list. The Quick and the Dead.
Quick and the Dead.
The Quick and the Dead. Gene Hackman, who just R.I.P.
Yeah, we lost a great.
Gene Hackman.
Al Pacino didn't like him.
Listen to this: Gene Hackman, Russell Crowe, young Leonardo DiCaprio, Sharon Stone. It's really good.
Okay.
What is it? The
Quick and the Dead.
The Quick and the Dead.
Yeah.
Quick and the Dead. The Quick and the Dead.
All right, fun fact for you.
High Cliff is hilarious.
Who?
High Cliff.
Yeah. Does not give a crap. He plays a really good character in the last scene.
That would be so.
That ain't it.
I will say, when I was in college, I had to, as a part of one of the classes that I was doing, one of the acting classes that I was doing, I had to play a drunk person.
Okay.
And I had never been drunk. And what's interesting...
But you've been around drunk people.
I've been around a lot of drunk people. But the interesting thing is that, like, what are drunk people trying to do? Look sober. Mm-hmm. So when you're playing drunk, the idea is that you're trying to, like, look sober. And I just didn't get it. And
so you looked drunk when you were playing drunk.
Yeah, exactly. So I just maybe he's been high a bunch or whatever, but his portrayal there was just hilarious. Like, it was so funny.
That scene where he goes, "What's your name?" "I'm the devil." Nah, that ain't it.
No. It's something like
it's something stupider than that.
It's stupider than that. The guy's got a gun pointing at him.
The girl says text. He goes, "That's it." Text. That's it. Hey, FBI.
And then he gets the knife goes into him, and he's just like hitting it. Like,
yeah.
By the way, if you were tripping, that's exactly what you would do.
I bet
you would just touch that knife.
I believe that. Actually,
acid dip cigarette is tonight the night.
Is tonight the night?
FBI.
Yeah, that never came back.
What did?
Yeah, it did.
Yes, it did. He smokes it when he takes the dog out for a walk.
Does he know it?
He said, yes,
Yeah.
he knows it. He goes, away.
Oh, I missed that.
because
go.
he's been
iPad.
drinking
Yeah,
margaritas.
iPad, guys.
He's been drinking margaritas all night.
Yes.
Then he comes back. He's gonna take the dog for a walk. He sees the acid cigarette.
Yes.
And he's like, "Is tonight the night?"
And he looks at the dog.
Oh, why not? You know.
Yeah.
And
Did
away we go.
Did you have any idea that flamethrower was going to come back at the end of the movie?
No, dude, that was awesome though.
So great. Especially that it's Rick. Because Rick doesn't know what's going on. All of a sudden, some crazy chick just falls in his pool, starts shooting the gun. And his first thing is like, you know what? I've got a prop in the other room that can take care of this situation.
And he had trained so long on this flamethrower.
That scene is really funny too. He's like, oh, that's really hot. Can we do something about that? It's a flamethrower.
What else was really cool when he's telling the neighbors,
Emil Hirsch.
he's telling Sharon Tate's boyfriend about it, and he's like, yeah, I had a flamethrower from, and I can't remember the name of the movie, but the dude's like 12 whatever, and he's like, yeah, and it's just a cool moment.
He's
for
like,
Rick.
well, what did he say? I cooked her or something like that. I burned her to a crisp.
I found myself so happy for Rick at the end. I'm literally smiling for Rick as Sharon Tate hugs him and welcomes him into.
So you were
party.
talking about that. You were saying you didn't finish your thought unless I didn't hear you. You were saying he was drinking, he was like really upset and doing his thing, but then by the end of the movie, he's actually like, I'm going to put myself together and do this.
Well, I don't know that he does that. In fact,
he does. He goes to Italy, films 6 films, comes back, and he's like,
no. You're talking about
married.
the very end.
I'm talking about the very, very, very
He
end.
gets to finally go into Roman Polanski's house with her.
I'm like, you know what?
This is the kind of thing that Matthew McConaughey talks about in his book, right? Like just
Green
being
light.
in the right
Green
place
light.
at the right time. And
so I hadn't thought about it that deep, Remington. I had not. But
this was just a surface level. I finally get to meet Sharon Tate.
No,
my
it was.
neighbor?
I'm in, and I have friends who. There were people that recognized him as him at his top of tops, and it was just like, we've seen Rick absolutely get drugged through the mud here.
Yeah,
I'm glad he gets a W.
Yeah.
I'm glad he gets a win.
Like the Johnny drama.
Oh yeah.
We're doing Notebook later. Eric is in the Notebook.
Oh yeah, I always forget that.
I forgot
it. Such a weird role for E.
That too.
Like, what are you doing, E?
What? E is in a Notebook.
Double feature.
All right, I got to tell you this fun fact about the real life sister of Sharon Tate was so moved by Margot Robbie's portrayal of Tate, she claimed she cried real tears and had a patch of tears down the front of her shirt because she really felt like she had her sister back for the first time in 50 years.
Oh wow!
I mean, that's
how I felt about her portrayal of Barbie.
Sorry, Mrs. Tate. I'm so sorry.
Oh my gosh, I was going somewhere with this, man. This can't be doing that.
I couldn't waste it. I couldn't.
That's too good. We got to show a picture of Marcus crying, holding a Barbie, But listen, that is really interesting to me that you can move someone to tears with a performance. It reminds me of a fun fact I had about Schindler's List. There was a real life Holocaust survivor. Did you snicker just now?
I just didn't expect
when
it
I
to.
said Schindler's List, you
Yeah,
snickered?
I
don't think you're allowed to snicker.
It just caught me off guard.
Holocaust over here.
Oh, the Holocaust is so funny.
Okay, calm down.
Jeez.
Mangus, settle down. So, essentially, no, but reel it back in because this is a crazy fact. There was Ralph Fiennes plays, like, I can't remember the character's name, but like the worst Auschwitz soldier. And there was a Holocaust survivor that literally all he did was walk in the room. And he had been studying like the way this guy walked and carried himself. Didn't even say a word. She had to leave. She was so wrecked by it.
Oh wow!
So this is what I'm saying. Like these actors, and this is why we keep going back to like why Tarantino, like really, for him, what he gave back in this love letter to Hollywood is like these guys really are doing something. Art is important. Like there really is the amount of effort they're putting into portraying something and getting in character.
I agree. They really do. And reading some of these books and then watching these movies, because we've read multiple actors' autobiographies, it really does. They are painstakingly working to bring life to these characters that is in some ways themselves, but is really authentic to the character that either the writer created or if it's about somebody that's real, who that person was.
I think everybody who watches
it's beautiful
acting and stand-up comedy and goes, I could do that.
I could do it,
and then when you hear these guys and girls actually talk about the process, you're like, okay, there's a reason they're this good.
What's funny is I don't know about your guys' high school. Maybe this was just my experience, but anyone who wanted to go down the acting route was
knowing the high school you went to, it was just your experience. But keep going.
Well, I was at a pretty small high school.
No, but I'm just saying, like, the cool thing to do is play sports and not to be in drama class. But like some of the coolest people turn out to be like the most famous actors of all time, but the route to get there, at least in the school days, is not glamorous. Like no one's glorifying the best actor on a stage at a high school
That's a
play.
really good point. They if they make it, they end up being.
But you have to think that most of the greats started then when no one cared about them and didn't even go to the plays and thought it was stupid and called them names.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
Market, so what's it like to live that and not make it?
Oh my gosh. Why is there a W on your hat?
You just get on a podcast and talk about it.
Oh,
you get on a podcast and get a few listens each week.
You get on a podcast and just pick everybody else apart that didn't make it.
So I'm just catching up on my notes.
For the record, I was saying really nice things.
You were talking about how he memorizes lines. So basically what he does is he took a tape recorder and he records the other people's lines.
Yes.
And then he plays it back and then he does his own lines and that's how he memorizes his lines. Did you guys
Spanish.
Did you hear a Spanish accent on it?
Yes.
So bad. So racist. I was just like, oh man, I couldn't get enough of that.
Dude, should we finish up the what made you think with the end? I mean, the end makes this movie.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right? It is such a cool culmination that Quentin Tarantino creates, and you've got the dog, right? You've got Tex and the two girls. You've got the Italian wife. You've got Cliff. And then you've got Rick out there like doing his lines. I mean, it's just incredible the way that he puts all of these characters in exactly the position that they would be in. He sets it all up, and the payoff is at the very end of the movie. It's awesome.
Dude,
so let me ask you this.
I cannot believe that Riley didn't get to see it. That's like so sad.
I don't think what she would witness would overshadow anything that you're talking about.
So I was watching this movie last night, and it was late, and I've had a very long week, and I got up early. I did hours worth of meetings. Then we had a party at our house, right? A birthday party. Then I watched this movie, and it's not a short movie.
It's 2 hours and 41 minutes.
So I am like trying to stay awake. It's a movie that I've seen before. I'm taking notes. I'm trying to stay awake. Jessica just comes downstairs just for this last part.
That's the difference between Jessica and Riley.
And I remember, I literally said to her, I was like, I was almost asleep, like trying to fight off sleep. And then at the end of this, I'm just jacked up and excited and ready to go.
Maybe I just haven't seen it as many times, but I'm anticipating the end that I'm just getting built up more and more.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
you were
excited.
getting built up the entire time. Yeah. No, I mean, I was very tired.
Okay. So, this is a part I miss. I can't tell. So when he pulls up, are they targeting Sharon Tate's house?
Yes.
And because Rick Dalton comes out and just obliterates them and says, "Get out of here," they decide to go to his house instead.
Because Rick Dalton kills people on TV, so they make guns cool.
They were going to Sharon Tate.
The pale white girl has this It's honestly great acting, amazing acting. But she goes off on Hollywood teaches us to kill people. Now we're gonna kill the people that teach us it's cool to kill people, and that's when they change direction.
So that's when they decided we're gonna kill Rick Dalton instead. Okay.
And even they thought like he was. They loved him.
Yeah,
and
they
same
loved
way
him.
that Emil Hirsch did.
Yeah.
But
then that's how brainwashed that they are.
Yeah, exactly. Because of that, they thought,
kill
how
him.
cool would it be if we go kill him?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What they didn't expect was that they were going to run into super high Brad Pitt and his crazy pit bull dog.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So
Dude,
he wrote this for 5 years,
how much would that hurt, by the way?
beginning
the dog.
balls chopped off by
If you had to
a pit
pick
bull.
one of the deaths to experience, what of the 3 are you picking?
I think the flamethrower would instantly kill you.
But
It's not instantly
but
gonna
she
kill you.
suffered.
By the way, just go in the water.
No,
Yeah.
time out.
Dip.
Stop, drop,
She's
and roll.
she can't see. She doesn't know what's happening. Are you serious? Are you
Well,
guys serious?
she
right
knows
now?
she's in a pool.
No, she really doesn't know. Did you see her? Do you not forget what happened to her up until that point?
No, I did not
The
forget.
dog mauls her face.
Yeah.
So I think actually that would be the worst of the three deaths.
cumulative deaths.
Yes. Not
How does Tex actually
I think.
die?
I think getting my
He
face
stomps his
bashed in.
face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think my face getting bashed.
I think the
in with
redheaded
like,
girl
you would be out of it.
The redheaded
that
girl
was
was
the
out
most,
quickest.
that was the most brutal.
You'd be
Well,
you'd
because
be
she
out of it
stabbed him
pretty
with the
quick.
knife and then just stood there. So that was like
But
his
the
green.
I would
meat.
choose that
hand to
death.
hand combat, personal like.
I don't know, man. A dog on your person.
I
How
do
does
not
he
want
film
that.
that?
I do not
How
want
do you
that.
film that?
By the way, Austin Butler, like he plays a fairly small role in this. That's a great.
You're talking about Tex?
Yeah.
I had down Austin Butler.
great.
I looked up his name. I was so
Guys,
impressed by him.
what else does he do? I don't even
Elvis.
know. Oh, that's Elvis?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't do Elvis for like 15 years. Well, hold on.
No.
Hold on. Yes. Okay.
This
I'm with
movie's
you.
not that old. This movie can't be older than
No.
5 years old.
What'd I say? 2016?
That was 10 years ago.
You
almost,
said
Marcus.
2016 is when this came out.
2019.
6 years.
So 6
Pretty
years.
close. Yeah. And Elvis was what, like 3 years ago?
I did not recognize him.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He crushes it. I thought he did an amazing job.
Wonder
And then you got
why they
Kurt
chose not to
Russell,
show
you got all
Charlie
these
Charlie
incredible-
Manson.
I think that's part of the fun.
Mm-hmm.
May have overtaken the. Maybe Tarantino purposely didn't
Was
want
he
him to
in
get
none
any.
of the flashbacks or anything?
No.
Oh,
Maybe he
interesting.
purposely didn't want to give him any more attention. I could see that being an angle.
Maybe.
I can see that being an angle as well.
especially because he's trying to rewrite it. You know.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, he
That's
never
a good
would
point.
never would have been famous for it. Best quotes.
I am so disappointed unless you are trying so hard not to bring up Margot Robbie's feet in that scene.
Wait, hold on.
I was gonna say.
Remind me, is she pregnant at the time that this
No,
happens? No.
she's just at the movie theater and her feet
Oh,
are so
she's got her
dirty.
feet up
I heard, yes, she did have dirty feet.
And then the hippie puts her feet on the dashboard. Like, I'm just waiting for the Brett
Who
feet
puts their
comments.
bare feet up in the theater?
In the 60s and 70s,
And
probably
they're
a lot
dirty.
of people.
Why are her feet so dirty? She's wearing shoes.
Hippies don't shower?
No, it
She's
was
not a
Robbie.
hippie.
Margot Robbie had dirty feet in the theater.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, but she was new agey. She was.
I wish you guys could see Brett Wiggins right now as he's
You
moving
might be
his
able
body
to
to
see
show.
Brad Wiggins right now.
I
I,
was-
think this was getting filmed.
I was
New
twisting.
agey.
I was twisting.
New agey.
Oh my
All
gosh.
right.
Well,
Her
but
feet
did
looked
they
a
have
lot
an
better
arch?
this time.
Did they have an arch?
No, you didn't see that much because
Interesting.
Tarantino would
I mean,
not put that in his
no,
film.
you got quite the look at her feet.
You know-
I wrote the same note down, and I was waiting for Brett to bring it
I
up.
know. I was really disappointed. Was that in your hidden gems? Tell me.
We'll find
her
out.
feet was that in hidden gems.
All right, we're at quotes for now. I could not figure this one out. Sorry about the wet hand. Don't worry about it. I'm used to it with you. What?
I don't know what you're quoting.
Rick Dalton
Yeah.
shakes somebody's hand. It's a director's hand. I don't know whose it was.
After he's been put in his face, and he's like
Yes,
hung over. And
it's
he's
it's
putting his
the
face
it's
in the
the it's
water.
the Silver Fox director that is directing the Western he's in.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's in makeup, and he goes, "Sorry about the wet hand." Shakes his hand. He goes, "Don't worry about it. I'm used to it with you."
I think that it was him being like a drunk.
Oh, hungover.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, that makes more sense. All right.
The Cover Podcast, where we explain movies to Brett Wiggins.
It could
You
be.
know what? Dave Seibel said that real early on, and I'm beginning to think that
You're
he was
beginning
right.
to believe him.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Don't tell Dave I told him he was right. Was that a wine? I loved that.
Was that a wine?
Was that a wine? When he was talking to the dog.
Oh, yeah.
When
Dude, the way he talks to his dog is awesome. Okay,
so
I got a
good.
quote. I'm asking a favor. If the answer is no, the answer is no. Hold on.
This quote is great. I love
it's
this.
Leo talking.
It's
to
Leo
the-
talking to Kurt Russell.
Yep.
And I screwed up my typing. So it's something to the effect of, I'm asking a favor. If the answer is no, the answer is no. I don't need the excuses. And I love that.
I did too.
I love that just period. If the answer is no, the answer is no. I'm asking a favor. I don't need the excuses.
It's so good.
And then he doesn't say no.
Yeah, technically he actually
Yeah.
lets him do it, which was a bad mistake because then he kicks Bruce
No,
Lee's
no,
butt.
no. You guys are
The
mixing
favor
up
was
the
to get-
timelines.
No, the favor was to get him in the movie.
But then he doesn't actually get in the movie.
yeah.
But then he doesn't actually get in the movie.
That whole thing was late in the memory.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah. I say actor because the word actress is senseless. The little 8-year-old girl.
Oh yeah.
What was that? What was the whole purpose
How
of that
cool
little
was
girl?
that?
I think the whole purpose was at the end of his scene.
We're right. We just watched it.
At
where
the
she
end of
said,
his scene,
Oh,
she goes,
more
best
speech.
acting I've ever seen.
at the end of that scene, she goes, "That was the best acting
Yeah.
I've seen in my whole life."
When she's 8.
And she's 8, and he cries.
Well, what you're getting with Rick is the ups and downs,
The roller coaster of his-
Yeah.
acting,
Yeah.
which Pacino talks about a lot.
You'll
in
be
his
there in
book,
about
right?
15 years.
Yeah, Pacino talks about that a lot in his book. But he's up and then he's down. He's up and then he's down. People will tell him he's the greatest, and then people will tell him he's a has been. So
My favorite line of this entire scene at the ranch is "Fix it."
Fix
I
it.
love how he handles that.
Throws it at him.
dude,
Go ahead, Rim.
he's the best character.
I'm reading these quotes and I'm trying to put in. I can't remember when they are, and then I figure it out, and it makes me laugh so hard. Is everyone okay? Well, effing hippies aren't it? That's a fast forgotten.
I love this line.
Josh Tankshire.
I thought Cliff again.
Movies like this are hard for quotes. Because
is.
There's just so many.
Listen, when you're cursing, certain quotes are a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh
certain-
yeah, for sure. So Cliff, I love how close he gets to making career-ending injury mistakes and just stays far enough off. Many of them are tied to the 16-year-old hippie that is constantly trying to get him to cross the line. He says, "Prison tried to get me all my life. The day it does, it won't be because of you."
Yeah.
No offense. No
Right afterwards, I'm too old. No, I'm not going to say that one.
Okay, no, but at the ranch, Dakota Fanning's character, which is Mama Bear, okay,
I'm so glad I could
Right
read
after that. Okay, right before that. No, I can't read that one either.
Nope, can't say that one.
So she asked Rick how long it's been since he saw Spawn from Spawn's ranch, and he says 8 years. She goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you two were so close." Dude, that whole scene is so mellow. They're so chill. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite pieces of dialogue.
Mounting.
Yes.
What's
Yes.
going to happen?
Yep.
Anybody ever kills anyone in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter. When he's talking about how he's so mad at people who say that their hands
Yes,
are
Bruce Lee
registered.
says they're registered. Yeah. This is when they are on the plane on the way home from Italy. I don't actually remember if it's Cliff or Rick, or I think it's actually narrator. It says, "When you get to the end of the line with a buddy who's more than a brother and a little less than a wife, the only way to say farewell is to get bloody drunk together." And
I think it's blind drunk.
Blind.
blind drunk.
It's blind
and
drunk.
by the way, it's not about getting drunk.
Can we say the real line?
Yes.
Getting blind drunk together is really the only way to say farewell.
Thank you. It's not about getting drunk. It's about commemorating moments together. And we brought it up so many times. We don't do it enough.
That's why when you have funerals, you get together and tell stories about the person.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think we're doing a good job of that. I mean, that's the whole reason for this podcast.
Yes.
Is to make sure we get together and have fun and talk about our favorite things.
Ourselves, our stories, our movies.
And then we let other people listen to it on Patreon.
Yeah.
We've talked about the acid dip cigarette.
And you were on a horsey.
He said, "Time out. What did he say to the pale girl? You grinned at me. You something me.
Are you real?
You were on a horse.
I'm as real as
You
a
were on a
donut, mother
horsey.
trucker. And you were on a horsey. No, it's something dumber than that.
Text. Yeah, that's it.
That's it. Text.
So we talked about the acid dip cigarette. The actual quote is, "I remember you."
Yeah.
Hippie girl, 50 cents. Tonight the night? Why not?
Believe it or not, I have a flamethrower in the tool shed.
That whole interaction, to your point, that whole interaction at the gate, the very last scene after everything happens, is so like pleasant.
It is.
I don't know how to say it.
I loved every second of it.
It's so pleasant.
I loved
it. And then
it.
she hugs him, neighbor. Yeah.
Yes, the dude is like super kind to him.
I didn't realize I felt this way until you said that. And I was like, oh, I actually feel that way.
I apologize for this, but I got to take us back to another what made you think
Do it.
that I wrote down in the wrong spot.
Hmm?
Was this really just a sequel to Barbie?
How so?
Was she just Barbie in the real world?
Oh, interesting.
She gets pregnant?
Interesting.
Yeah.
And
It's a
she's really,
sequel.
the way she acts about her fame, she kind of plays kind of an, not, I don't want to call Sharon Tate, I don't even know anything about Sharon Tate, but Airhead would be a description people
sequel
may
to
use
Barbie.
of her.
I will say there were more
Marcus, I think
women
that's a great
nominated for Oscars in this movie than there was Barbie.
And they deserved it.
And they deserved every bit of it.
Who are they?
Ariane Phillips, Best Achievement in Costume Design. It was for costumes, but, you know.
Isn't that what Barbie got not nominated for? Or was that a guy that did the
It was,
costumes?
well, I
in
mean, the
Barbie?
only win was Gosling is what I remember. Nancy High, production design. Shannon McIntosh. I mean, there was a lot of women in this movie. There was 2 Oscar winners, Brad Pitt for supporting role.
Which
and
he deserves. Is that his first Oscar?
I don't know. We have a producer for that information. But Leo was nominated.
Yeah.
You said there were 2 actors that won something?
No, there was 2 Oscars won.
2 Oscars
Best
won.
Performance and Best Achievement in Production Design.
Any updates on the Oscars? Maybe we'll do that in the next episode.
Sure.
I'm ready for Hidden Gems.
What you got?
Well, did you guys notice the stairs on the plane? So they're flying Pan Am, and there's like an upstairs, like cool bar.
Oh, yes.
I never knew there were stairs on planes ever.
Yes.
That's so awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome. They built up versus wide.
Different design, yeah.
Dude, so cool.
I don't know what they do anymore. We're not flying those planes if
No,
they do.
we are not. We are not.
So fun fact, do you know, so that very first scene when he's getting a drink poured, so like when they're on the plane, the first scene is a stewardess pouring him a drink. Do you know who the stewardess is? Margot Robbie. It's Margot Robbie. You don't know it. It's her voice. It's her hands. It's her arms, and it's part of her uniform.
If it was her feet, I would have known.
She starred. She starred in the TV miniseries Pan Am in 2011.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. He likes to do these little Easter eggs of themselves, like their own movies, their own.
We're about to
successes.
get
Dude,
invited.
there's so many things that he does that I just love.
I'm willing to bet money we at some point will get an invite to a Facebook group that's like a foot fetish Margot Robbie, and we created
By
the
we mean Brett. I just love little things that Tarantino does. Like there's this parking lot that has the arrows that are going this way, and then Brad Pitt is pulling out the other way. It's just little stuff like that he clearly does on purpose.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't have to put the arrows pointing that way.
But you focus in.
But what you're doing is you're creating
out.
a character who just doesn't care.
Does not
Yeah.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good pickup.
That's a great pickup. That is a hidden gem of a hidden gem. Rick having a huge poster of himself in his own driveway.
Yeah. So that was Tarantino was visiting different houses in Hollywood, and one of his actor friends had that, and he thought it was hilarious, so he made it. He
That's
gave it
awesome.
to Rick.
So this wasn't really. I put it on Hidden Gems, but the Great Escape scene is awesome. Like they
Just in
put
the actual
him in,
movie?
they put him in there
It's
almost
incredible
seamlessly.
how he does that.
Yeah, Marvel needs to call them. This might be
Right.
because that was very good, very well done.
But they were really specific on using that kind of thing to show how, like, even the story about him being second to Steve McQueen.
Yeah, they set him in to Hollywood
Yeah.
in a believable way.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
Showing how like he's not quite as good as everyone he's trying to be like, and he doesn't like his own narrative.
The cool thing about doing it that way is you don't have to worry about hurting someone's feelings. You don't have to like hold back. Like he could really make Rick out to whoever he wanted to make Rick out to be, versus picking an actor who was actually on the way down, because then he would have, I don't know,
to play the role of Rick Dalton.
No, like it's like, let's say he picks an actual actor in Rick Dalton's position to portray. Now, you get what I'm saying?
Well, I think that's what Michael Keaton did in Birdman.
Yeah.
Like that's what Michael Keaton.
But he's doing it to himself, so
Right.
that's fine. That's great. Actually, it's actually
his
even
movie?
Yeah, it's his movie. Whereas, like, if you were portraying an actor,
I think about that a lot. Like, how do you cast the fat guy and be like, I mean, you have like a fat, annoying guy that nobody likes, and they're like, okay, this is going to be your role, and he actually says that on the show, like, nobody likes me. How do you cast that role? Like, you have to have people like basically come in and audition for that. You can't
same way you cast Oompa Loompas.
The Oompa Loompas.
You just know what you're looking for.
So I wrote down another hidden gem, just hairy armpits.
Oh,
When she's laying down on his lap.
her name is Pussycat, by the way.
By the way, no seatbelts in cars is way more fun.
Yeah, we used to sit in
Way more fun.
backwards on the back seat of a Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way more fun.
Woodside, no return. Two things about the Bruce Lee scene. One, Bruce Lee, whoever that is, his jawline is impeccable. Number two, did you notice that while Bruce Lee's doing his monologue, Cliff is drinking a little single carton of milk
No,
on the tailgate of that truck?
that's funny.
He's just drinking milk. Why?
To
Yeah,
Marcus's
I did
point,
notice that.
Brad Pitt is trying to be eating or drinking in every movie.
Oh, okay, that's what it was then. I'm guessing.
Every
I'm
scene.
changing mine to Ocean's 11.
Every scene. Yeah. Whoop whoop. Here I come. When they're watching, he points. He's like whoop whoop. No. This is the Leo part where he's like, oh, here I come.
Yeah, he goes, shh,
And
shh.
he
does
points
something.
like that. That's the meme, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just wrote, that's basically us listening to our podcasts.
Yeah, here I come.
Hey, guys, you guys want to
Hey,
get together and
listen to
listen to
this.
our podcast?
For the record, I just want everybody to know that Marcus is the one that thinks the sound is whoop whoop.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoop,
I
whoop.
just wrote down whoop whoop. I don't remember what it was.
He does it with his whistle. Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
So listen, the editor, his name is Fred Raskin. His first assembly of this film was 4 hours and 20 minutes. Do you like this movie enough to watch 4 hours and 20 minutes?
I doubt
of
it.
I stand by my
That's a
original.
long
I stand by
time.
my original. It's Tarantino. It's Pitt. It's Leo.
You would do it?
Oh,
You would do
yeah.
4 hours?
I
I
was
think
in
with
it.
I mean, I would
Netflix-
watch it once.
Yeah, I think with Netflix, you normalize binge watching TV shows.
But I
It's
would
like,
never pause a
it's
movie
so
and come
funny.
back tomorrow.
It's so funny if you're no, but listen, you're like, hey, do you want to watch a 2-hour movie? I don't want to commit to that. Do you want to watch a 1-hour show, 5 episodes in a row?
It's
Yes.
the same thing. It's the same thing. Do you want to?
Well, that's the difference, though, like between a storyline that's 1 episode long, right? And because each episode, even if
Has
it's
its
a
own little
serial,
story.
even if it's a serial TV show, right? Each episode has its own arc,
right.
and so
they're
emotionally,
they're mini
emotionally,
episodes.
it's a
I
lot
could do one more.
different than making it through 3 hours of a movie. And
It's
that's
true.
that's part of it's like
true.
it's like making it through a long book. It's very similar.
Rating time, men. 9 for me.
Wow, you really like this movie.
I liked it a lot.
8.6.
8.2. 9?
Great, dude. I loved it.
So how many 9s do you have for Tarantino?
I went
this your
from
favorite Tarantino?
I went from 0 to I think 3 in the last 10. This is episode 41.
No, he was saying how many Tarantino 9s.
How many
do you think
Tarantino 9s do you have?
What else have we done, Tarantino?
Well,
None.
none that we've done,
Oh,
but like,
oh,
is this your favorite Tarantino movie?
I mean, if this is a 9, again, I need to rewatch them because I didn't really watch them. Inglourious Bastards would be my guess. Pulp Fiction would be my guess. Those would also be 9s.
Those two?
I would guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would
Reservoir Dogs?
guess. I don't remember. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one though.
That's not I'm getting it
Mr.
confused.
Pink, Mr. White.
Oh, I have seen it. Great.
Yeah.
Probably didn't appreciate it as much as I should have.
Right.
And I mean, if you've never
It'll
seen
be way
Django,
better for this.
I've never seen Django.
we'll have to do Django since he's never seen it
Yeah.
because that is so good.
Well, the
So
cool
I'm
thing
guessing-
is this podcast is not going anywhere.
There's
Exactly.
somewhere between 3 and 5 nines there.
In fact, we've got a pretty epic lineup coming up.
Oh,
That's right. Because we got. Should we actually do it?
What?
The Notebook.
Felt like we were just going to keep punting it, but
Rem is so upset we didn't keep punting it. He thought he created a group with me, Marcus, producer Nate, and him in it, and accidentally included my wife. And then said, wait, isn't the joke that we're never going to actually do the Notebook? Riley was in that text thread.
oh, is that what you were saying?
Yes.
I talked to Riley this morning, by the way.
Yeah.
And she's telling me all about how you guys watched The Notebook last night, and she's crying to death. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. Like, it's a pretty good movie.
So were you
She
playing
goes-
with her?
She goes, you're going to ruin it, aren't you? She goes, I'm not going to listen to this episode.
We got the Notebook. And then for all of our Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Phil Jackson, if you have any
Not
interest
LeBron James.
in
Kobe
no,
Bryant?
Well,
Kobe
no,
Bryant.
no, it's LeBron versus Michael is the GOAT debate.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think this book would help sway some of our younger listeners who don't respect greatness. I love LeBron James. I'm maybe the biggest LeBron James fan you know if you're listening to this podcast. Michael's the greatest. And Phil
We just lost half our listeners.
Phil Jackson, 11 Rings, great book coming up, and then Inception, another Leo.
Mm-hmm.
Another Leo. How many? Will that be 4 or 5 Leos?
We've done a lot of Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, Gosling Notebook as well. Coming up next on The Cover. We'll see you.